What's going on, everybody? My name is Aiden and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to take, I guess, my mind off of what's going on the court for the Chicago Bulls and actually take it towards some rumors that have been going on for the Chicago Bulls. It has been reported by, I believe now, multiple people that the Chicago Bulls are open-minded to trading Patrick Williams. That's a pretty big statement to make, ladies and gentlemen. Is it a statement that can end up, I guess, turning into a real life situation? Or is it something that, yeah, we've heard about it, it's a rumor, I guess, but nothing really comes from it? I want to talk about what my thoughts are about trading Patrick Williams in this video. Before we get any further, if you liked the video and you want to see more from me, drop a like, drop a follow, and or subscribe if you are new, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls and their open-mindedness to trade Patrick Williams. Is that the right idea? Is that the wrong idea? Is this something that we should be pursuing? Is it something that we should be staying away from, or is this a wait-and-see approach for you guys? A lot to get into here, ladies and gentlemen. Now, firstly, I want to talk about whether or not I actually believe the Chicago Bulls would be willing to trade Patrick Williams. And the way that I see it right now, I think almost anybody on this Bulls team can be traded. I mean that in the most nicest way possible. I feel like there is no untouchables on this team. I've made videos about this before, about whether or not we have any untouchable players, and I honestly don't think we have any. Maybe Matas Bazelis could be one if you really think he could turn into something, but ultimately I think everybody on this team is tradable. From Levine to Vucevic, even to the guys that we really like Ayo and Kobe, to Patrick Williams as well. I do believe all these guys could end up getting traded in one way, form, or fashion. It's not likely, but it can happen. And I do think there are no untradeable players on this Bulls team. So whether or not this is believable, considering I think everybody could get traded at some point, I do believe this is a believable article, a believable report, a believable rumor for the Chicago Bulls that they are open-minded to trading Patrick Williams. You also got to realize what open-minded means. It doesn't mean that they're leaning towards it. It doesn't mean that they are pursuing it heavily. It means that they're now starting to listen, at least. It means that their minds are starting to begin to understand what Patrick Williams is for the Chicago Bulls and what we could potentially get out of it. It's just the open-mindedness. It's just keeping the options open. And you know what? That's a good thing for the Chicago Bulls. Now, whether or not you want Patrick Williams to be traded or not is completely up to you. The one thing I don't want to see, especially from anybody on this team, is to see the door slammed shut on a trade. I'm not necessarily willing to listen to that. I want everybody to be open-minded about a trade for anyone, especially at this point in time. And if that comes down to Patrick Williams getting traded, then I want the Bulls to be open-minded about that. It doesn't mean I want them to, give up Patrick Williams for the most ridiculous low ball offer. I'm just saying, it's just best to keep those options open. You never know what could be put in front of you. Again, the New York Knicks, they landed on Karl-Anthony Towns because at some point, they didn't even know he was available for a trade. No one did. And the New York Knicks just found that trade. That's just keeping an open mind, trying to pursue something, and they found something. It's as simple as that. The Bulls should not be closing their minds to anything at the moment, whether it's Zach LaVine or Patrick Williams. So I believe it's believable, and I actually think it's a good thing that they're keeping their options open. Now, to get into the real nitty-gritty of this video, when it comes to Patrick Williams, will we end up seeing Patrick Williams getting traded, and is it the right idea at this point in time? Well, I personally don't think Patrick Williams will get traded, and the reason why I don't think Patrick Williams is going to get traded is, number one, I don't think teams are willing to really participate in that contract. I think he's getting $18 million per season, and Patrick Williams is a great 3-and-D guy, but I do think $18 million for Patrick Williams is a hefty price that will take a lot of teams out of the picture. Unless they're willing to give up bad contracts, unless the Bulls are willing to take on bad contracts, I doubt Patrick Williams' contract is something that a lot of teams are going to want to pursue and have on their books. So that's the first thing. I could be wrong about that, but that's just how I feel about Patrick Williams. Two, I really believe the Bulls are going to overvalue Patrick Williams. Now look, we've seen this before. We've seen it with guys like Alex Caruso. We have seen this with guys like Zach LaVine. We have seen this with guys like DeMar DeRozan. We've seen it with almost everybody, where the Bulls do overvalue their players. And because they overvalue their players, the trades that you see coming in become fewer and fewer because teams know that the Bulls overvalue their players. So when you're, demanding 2 first-round picks for Alex Caruso, in the end, we got none. Now, Josh Giddey's a good player, but you could have got a first-rounder for Alex Caruso. You could have got multiple, one-time first-rounders for Alex Caruso. To get none is kind of insane to me. At the end of the day, I think that's what happens when you overvalue, and I think that's what happens when you wait, and you wait, and you wait. I mean, it's insane. So, yeah, that's what the Bulls kind of do. And I think they will overvalue Patrick Williams, and I think they're going to wait, and I think they're going to wait, and wait even more. And just when you think they couldn't wait anymore, another season of waiting. That's kind of how I feel when it comes towards Patrick Williams before we end up really considering a trade, or before he ends up getting traded. It is what it is. Now, do I want Patrick Williams to get traded? That's another question. And my answer to that will be, it kind of depends on who we get in return. Now, I'm completely off the bandwagon of Patrick Williams becoming a superstar. I think, his 4th, 5th year now in the NBA? I think that ship has truly sailed. I do not think he's going to be a superstar. I do not think he's going to be a 2nd or 3rd option player anymore. I think he is what he is now. He's a 3-and-D guy. Yes, he could become an elite 3-and-D guy, but I still believe he's a 3-and-D guy. He's going to be a good player to have on maybe a playoff team, but he's never going to be the guy to lead your team. And I think everybody can safely come to that conclusion now. So if you're thinking Patrick Williams is going to be a superstar, then that's when I would say, all right, you need to trade him. Because if you're still on that bandwagon of Patrick Williams becoming a superstar, he's failing in that area. But if you think Patrick Williams is a good 3-and-D guy that you could have and develop in your team at the moment, it's a bit tough to say we should be trading Patrick Williams. He fits our current timeline. We are in a rebuilding process. I do think when we end up becoming a good team, Patrick Williams can be a very valuable asset to that. He can be a very valuable piece to that. And you could potentially see another situation where if the Bulls get rid of a young talent in Patrick Williams and they ship him off to Detroit, for example, because it looks like Detroit always wants Patrick Williams. Let's say he ends up going to Detroit and he carries Detroit into the playoff picture and he actually really takes the next step up for the Detroit Pistons, I should say. You have to then ask the question, the Bulls gave up on another young talent. And then you have to ask another question about why the Chicago Bulls can't develop players. Now, maybe we need Patrick Williams to go in order to actually bring that conversation around again. Regardless of how you feel, it's a very hard situation to trade Patrick Williams. I know so many people are just going to say yes because he just sometimes is not aggressive. And sometimes he doesn't play the way that we want him to play. Everybody's going to jump on the bandwagon and say yes because of that. But right now, we're in a situation of learning more than anything. We are in a situation of developing. And I know Patrick Williams has had 4 years here, and he may not develop to what we want him to be, but that doesn't mean there's no development left in him. And I'd like to see that get really brought out before we kind of move into the let's trade him 100% all-in trade Patrick Williams. So my standpoint is, it depends on who comes around, which team offers the best deal, and whether that deal is too good to refuse. But if you're getting very ordinary deals, I wouldn't be shipping Patrick Williams because he could be valuable to the team that we're trying to build. And all in all, I just think teams will also hesitate to trade for him, and the Bulls are going to overvalue him. There's so many reasons why I can't see a Patrick Williams trade happening. Not to mention, the Bulls don't make very many trades. I know they did a lot of big things in their first season, but since then, they have been very quiet in the trade department. They don't make a lot of trades. They don't make a lot of big moves. It's a very stagnant team that we have. It's a very stagnant roster, or a very stagnant front office, I guess you could say. They will wait to the very last possible second before trading anyone. So keep that in mind as well. But do you agree about trading Patrick Williams, or do you not agree with us trading Patrick Williams? Keep in mind, it's an open mind. That's all it's saying. So listen to trades, keep the open mind, see how you can evaluate and make this team better if need be, and then make your decision. Can't go wrong. We'll see. I still think LaVine and Vucevic are more likely to go. So that's how I feel. But thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care, and peace.